Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about the 6th house. This is the last house I'm doing on this Secrets of the Houses series. And the 6th house is a very important house. I mean, it deals with our health. And this is never given enough importance, not until you lose your health, then you realize how very important our health is. So before we start, always remember, everything is in my book, which is Astrology, the Divine Order of the Universe, all about the houses. And to take it to an even further level, this is my textbook for my university, Eastern Astrology for Western Minds. Check them out. I think that Astrology, the Divine Order of the Universe, I always say it's like my favorite book because it really does give you an understanding of how we've derived all these meanings to the houses. It's not just that the 6th house is health and work. It goes so much deeper than that. But yes, it is very important. So the 6th house in Vedic astrology is called an Upachaya house. Upachaya means that over time, things improve and get better. So it's like the more you work on something, such as a muscle or exercise, the stronger and better you get. Now, the Upachaya houses in Vedic astrology that give this quality of drive, ambition to improve and get better are houses 3, 6, 10, and 11. Some people say the 10th house is not Upachaya. I was always taught it is. I know that it is part of growing and expanding and making things better in life. So the 6th house is also a Dastana house. Now, how is that? Because, you know, the Dastana houses are detrimental. They're bad news. And what are the Dastana houses? They're the most difficult ones of all, which is 6, 8, and 12. So they cause problems, and even the planets that rule these houses can bring their problems to another house. So in terms of it being Dastana, you know, where the 8th house is a Dastana house and not an Upachaya house, it deals with chronic disease, such problems that you don't get better with. Whereas the 6th house can be acute disease, which means you can get well and get better, you improve. And planets in the 6th house will denote health. And it is said that when one malefic's in the 6th house, it doesn't prevent you from getting sick, but it does give you a strong immune system to overcome illness. So when you do get sick, you get well quickly. And if you have Mars in the 6th house by itself, yes, you have a very strong immune system. I bet that you get sick really fast, but you overcome it real fast. You get a high fever. Mars's fevers and heat in the 6th house, but that's the body's way of healing. Rahu in the 6th house can give somebody a very strong immune system as well. But as I said, it won't prevent you from getting diseases. But when you do get sick, you get over it really quick because something kicks in. It's an Upachaya house. It improves and gets better. Now, the 6th house is also the house of enemies. Pretty much open enemies, so you know where they're coming from. Whereas the 12th house, which is opposite the 6th, can deal with secret enemies, such as thieves, burglars, people that come out at you that you didn't know about, people that talk behind your back. Whereas the 6th house, you know who these enemies are. They're pretty obvious. They're out in the open. But it is a house of enemies. And because it is a house of work, it deals specifically with employees or co-workers, the people that you work with. Another thing about the 6th house I must put out there before I forget, it deals with pets and animals. So, you know, don't go adopting a pet when you have malefics transiting your 6th house. Go adopt a pet when you have benefics transiting your 6th house. You'll fare so much better. You'll get a healthy and much better pet. It works that way. So the 6th house is is about health and healing. And whenever people have a lot of planets in the 6th house or the 12th house, they will be fascinated with health and healing and possibly go into a profession such as a doctor or a nurse dealing with health and healing, or even a healer, spiritual healer of sorts. Those type of things are going to be of utmost interest when an array of planets are in both the 6th or the 12th. Because the 6th house can deal with doctors or having, a doctor's private practice, whereas the 12th house is hospitals. So it could deal with doctors that work in hospitals. But the 6th house, in terms of health and healing, it can also deal with counseling. People who give counsel to other people, who inspire other people through coaching, counseling, or some type of directing and dealing with psychology to help others. Remember, the 6th house, by and large, is the house where people want to help other people. So that goes into a service industry. People such as flight attendants, such as restaurant workers, waiters, chefs, cooks. I mean, I remember looking at Emeril Lagasse's chart. He had a powerful 6th and 12th house. I believe he had Moon K2 in the 6th house. And for those of you who don't know, he's one of the celebrity chefs you see all the time on the Food Channel. So that's the power of the 6th house: food, service, health, healing, helping people, serving people, anything where you are in service to other people. And it has been said that politicians should have a good 6th house. It's just that I don't think many of them are in service to other people anymore. It sounds more like it's about them. I could be wrong. I'm just saying it should be about those who are in service to the community as well. So, taking it a step further, Bhavat Bhavam and the derivative house system. Actually, Bhavat Bhavam is when you actually repeat the number of the house and you arrive at that same house. But the derivative house system is when you take it from house to house as well. And looking at the 6th house, it is the house of aunts and uncles. Why? Because it is the 3rd house from the 4th house. The 4th house meaning your family, your mother in particular, but it means your family. And if you count 3 houses from the 4th house, 4th, 5th, 6th, it is your mother's brothers and sisters. And actually, I've seen it goes both ways, where it can be the fathers too, but it does represent aunts and uncles, and that is why, because it's the 3rd from the 4th, 4th, 5th, 6th, siblings to the parents. So the next thing that I find the 6th house is, because it is the 2nd house from the 5th house, it represents your children's wealth and money. And I will vouch for this. I have 3 very, very successful sons, and I have Venus Rahu in the 6th house. So that can be my children's wealth. Although it can, the 6th house is not just a perfect great house in many ways. It can cause some health issues. It can cause some work issues. But when it comes to your kids, when you have powerful benefics there, it can be successful children, because it's the 2nd from the 5th. Now, it is also the 12th from the 7th, which can be some secrets of what? The spouse. So you got to consider that the 6th house and the 6th house ruler can have repercussions dealing with marriage partners, and things like that. So take note that it is the 12th from the 7th, and it is the 3rd from the 4th, but it's the 2nd from the 5th. This gives the 6th house a whole different dimension and meaning. And many times I have been able to pinpoint the problems with an aunt or uncle, or even the wealth that comes from siblings, or the losses that can come from the spouse. Remember, the 12th from the 7th can be the loss of the spouse as well. So malefics transiting there can cause some problems for the health and endings around not only the marriage and the relationship, but also looking at the spouse's health and well-being too. So that gives you a lot to work with. Remember, it can be co-workers, Saturn transiting in the 6th house. You could have so many problems with your co-workers, or employees quit when you least expect it and you need them the most. This could be, looking at the transiting planets. That's how powerful, and the dimension you will know when you really, truly understand the houses. So this will conclude my series on the houses. I hope that you have learned so much and gleaned more information about reading charts. Looking at them from this perspective will give your chart reading more depth and more meaning. So don't forget, go to my website, check out my new jewelry line and these beautiful malas I'm so happy with, and they give power to your prayer work and the energy you put into it with your mantras or affirmations. You can change your life, remember, and you have the power. So go to my website, check it all out, galacticcenter.org, and don't forget to go to my university website if you want to learn Vedic astrology, University of Vedic Astrology.com. Thank you.